At the beginning of the story, we see Richard taking his secret girlfriend Jennifer to his farmhouse over the weekend, where the pilot gives him a drug, after which both secretly get intimate. At night a call comes from Richard's wife, who does not know about this affair. Then Richard and Jennifer fall asleep. The next morning Jennifer suddenly gets very scared, seeing two men at the door, and she gives voice to Richard, on which Richard is surprised to see these guys, because they were going to come tomorrow. Then Richard introduced Stan and Dimitri with Jennifer, and she talks to both of them very nicely, but here Stan look at her body with dirty eyes. Stan and Dimitri are sitting with Jennifer at night, and here Dimitri is looking at Jennifer's body through binoculars. When his eyes go to that drugs, he tries to take it, but Richard comes there, and snatches the drug from his hands, and says that this drugs is quite different, because by taking it a person stop feeling pain. Then Richard gives this drugs to Jennifer, and Jennifer hides it in her locket, after which she plays music and wants to dance with Richard, but Richard refuses. Then she invites Stan for dance, and she dances very well with him. Here Stan feels good and start touching her body. Meanwhile Richard picks up Jennifer and goes to the bedroom. The next morning Jennifer does not see Richard, and she goes to Stan and asks about him, upon which she learns that he went out for passport work, and Dimitri had drunk a lot at night, because of which he is still drunk. Stan is quite excited at this time, because he was alone with Jennifer, seeing that Jennifer is very scared and tries to call Richard, but her phone is not connected to him. Then she returns to her room and changes her clothes, where Stan watching her from behind the door. Then she looks him, after which Stan comes to her, and asks her to get intimate, but she flatly refuses, to which Stan feels bad. Here Stan start forcing her and rapes her. Dimitri sees all this, but he doesn't do anything about it, and goes outside and starts swimming. After some time Richard also comes back, where Stan explains everything to him. Then he goes to Jennifer and tries to convince her, but Jennifer is crying a lot. Seeing this Richard goes outside and scolds Stan a lot, during which Jennifer falls asleep, and when she wakes up, Richard comes to her and says that, "I have arranged a good job for you," and he also gives her a check for a good amount. But here Jennifer doesn't listen anything, and asks him to call the helicopter. Richard tries to persuade her a lot, but she gets angry and threatens Richard to tell all about this to his wife, to which Richard gives her a slap, and she falls to the ground, which frightens her and she runs out. Richard follows her. When Stan and Dimitri see them, here both of them joins Richard for catching her. Now Jennifer runs to the edge of a cliff, beyond which she cannot go. Here all of them surround her. Richard asks her to accompany him, after which he asks Stan for his phone and pretends to call a helicopter. Jennifer does not understand the attention of those people, and trusts them. Just then Richard pushes her from the edge. Jennifer falls down on a branch of a tree, and it pierces her body. Seeing all this, Stan gets very scared, on which Richard explains to everyone, if she goes out and gives all this information to the police, then we would have to spend 15 years prison. But here Richard makes a plan that, when we go for hunting, we will dispose of Jennifer's body. After all of them return to the farmhouse, where Stan and Dimitri start collecting hunting stuff, and here Jennifer hangs on that twig. She is still alive. Here ants are crawling on her body. Then Jennifer sees her headphones and lighter, after which she gets the lighter with the help of her headphones, sets fire to the lower parts of the tree, due to which the branch of the tree becomes weak. And Jennifer falls from that tree. Here Jennifer's condition is bad, but she somehow manages to get herself to a safe place, and when they come back to that place, they don't see Jennifer, to which Stan gets very worried, and says that maybe someone has helped her. Then Richard angrily explains to him, that she might not have gone that far. All three come down to that cliff. Meanwhile the night falls, and their eyes go up the trail of blood. Here they follows it and reaches a riverbank, where Richard and Dimitri try to find her, but Stan is sitting in his car. On the other hand, Jennifer hides herself in the river, after hearing the sound of their car. When Dimitri stands on the bank of that river, then Jennifer comes from behind, and points Dimitri's gun at him, and when she tries to shoot at him, it doesn't have a bullet. As a result Dimitri catches her and informs Stan about it, which makes Stan quite relaxed, and he starts listening to music. Just then Dimitri tries to kill Jennifer, by drowning her in water. Meanwhile Jennifer takes out his knife and puts it in his eye, which makes him helpless. Then she kills him by drowning him in water. Then she runs away with Dimitri's motorcycle and bag, but midway the fuel runs out, due to which, Jennifer has to bow down in a nearby cave. Then she checks the bag, from which a beer cane comes out. Jennifer starts drinking it immediately, because she has not eaten or drunk anything for a long time. After some time Jennifer feels a lot of pain, and she remembers about that drugs, which she had hidden in her locket. Then she consumes those drugs. Due to which she feels strange at first, but after some time she stops feeling the pain, and with the help of a knife, she removes that stuck wood from her wound, and to stop bleeding, she heat a metal cane, and apply it on her skin. after which Jennifer falls asleep in that cave. In the morning Richard throws a dead animal at Stan's car, which scared him. Then he is refreshing himself by going to the river bank, where he sees Dmitry's rotten body, due to which he vomits. Here Stan goes back and sit in his car again. At that time he was also very angry. Now Richard takes the dead body out of the water. Then he binds a heavy stone on it and they threw it in water, so that no one comes to know about this dead body. Here Stan holds Richard responsible for all this, on which he would make Stan a bad condition, by hitting him with a punch, after which both of them got away from there on different vehicles, to find Jennifer. And there Jennifer wakes up from her sleep, looking at her wound which has healed to a good extent, after which she comes out of this cave and tries to see Richard and Stan, with the help of binoculars. On the other hand both are planning to find Jennifer. Then Richard sets out to find her. Here Stan is looking at his broken nose in the mirror. Jennifer sees him due to mirror reflection, after which Jennifer starts chasing his car, and when he comes down to refuel his car, seeing this Jennifer shoot at him but the target does not hit the right place. Taking advantage of this Stan runs away from that place, but Jennifer seeing her blood mark starts following him. Meanwhile Stan learns that Jennifer can reach him, after seeing a trace of his blood. Then he ties a cloth over his wound and when Jennifer reaches further, he stops seeing the mark, and here the Stan hides behind a mountain, after which he comes down and shoots Jennifer from behind. But he misses his target here, because bullet hits Jennifer's ear, after which Jennifer starts running and Stan follows her. Then Jennifer breaks the glass of the torch and drops it on the road, which Stan does not notice. As a result Stan's leg gets injured by a piece of glass. Here he feels a lot of pain. Yet he very courageously kicks the piece of glass out of his leg. Later he returns to his car again, and follows Jennifer, but Jennifer learns that Stan is coming in the car, due to which she stands on the way with a gun. As soon as Stan comes there, Jennifer starts shooting at him. At first she misses 2 rounds, but in the 3rd round she kills Stan. On the other hand, Richard is waiting for Stan, but he does not return even after waiting for a long time, on which Richard understands that Stan is also dead. After that he comes to his farmhouse and orders his pilot to bring the helicopter, so that he can go back home. Later he's taking a bath, where he hears someone's voice, and he looks around inside and outside with a gun. Then Richard sees himself at Jennifer's gunpoint. He tries to convince her, but Jennifer doesn't listen and fires at him. As a result Richard gets injured, after which he crawls to a room. Here Richard heals his wound with the help of a plastic wrapper, now that he is about to kill her, but Jennifer senses his trick, and back off. Meanwhile he starts chasing Jennifer. While running away Jennifer slips and falls. Taking advantage of this, Richard catches her and tries to kill her, but here Jennifer shoots him with the help of gun and Richard dies at the same time. Finally Jennifer takes her revenge and walks out of that place, where she hears a helicopter coming. And this story ends here. Please like and subscribe this channel for more interesting movie story.